Now, we recently witnessed that weird spectacle of Ali Velshi and MSNBC reading scripture to attack the administration's immigration policy. Well, that followed Attorney General Jeff Sessions quoting the Bible to justify that policy. So all of this has sparked a really big debate. It's really interesting among Christian leaders over immigration. So let's discuss that now with a pair of very distinguished religious leaders. I'm delighted they're both with us. Dr. Darrell Scott of the President's Faith Advisory Council and Dr. Ingle, president of Southeastern University. Great to see you both. All right, Dr. Ingle, let's start with you. You're actually, I think, a supporter of the president's, but you disagree with this policy that initially at least separated families, child in one area, parents more in a formal immigration detention. Why?
Well, sure. Well, I appreciate President Trump's leadership, and he's trying to do the right thing. He wants to uphold the laws of the land. There's no doubt about that. I think the issue there was to not only provide protection, which is what he wants to do as it relates to borders, but I think also the issue has to, you have to look at compassion. How do you bring the human element into this situation so that you can provide human dignity and respect and care and compassion and provide an element that gives both? And I think that's the thing that a lot of Americans are hoping that our president will step up in a way, along with the Congress, the House, the Senate. Our leaders will do the right thing and provide that protective and compassionate pieces to this legislation.
Pastor Scott, this is Bishop Michael Curry, who was just slamming Jeff Sessions for invoking the Bible. Let's watch.
For a Christian to quote Romans 13 over Jesus of Nazareth, as if Jesus of Nazareth doesn't exist, that it seems to me is highly problematic, and it's just flat out wrong. It's unbiblical, it's unchristian, and it's un-American.
Pastor, well, your reaction to that, and I have something to say about welcoming the stranger. Go ahead.
Well, listen, it's not unreasonable to refer to scriptures, especially if you're a Bible believer. It's not unusual to refer to scriptures as a basis to validate any actions that you engage in. Once again, if you're a Bible believer, we oftentimes use scripture to confirm or validate actions or activity that we engage in. I don't see anything wrong with Jeff Sessions utilizing that scripture, because that scripture simply says to obey the civil authorities. Notice something. Jesus nor the Apostle Paul never endorsed sedition or rebellion or violent uprising against Rome. And in using that scripture, he was saying that in order to advance our cause, violence is not the way. Obey the laws of the land so they won't have a reason to accuse us for any wrongdoing. Obey the laws of the land and put other matters into the hands of God, and he'll work it out.
Pastor Ingle, the Bible calls on us to welcome the stranger, and it's very powerful. Welcome them to your table. If someone, invite a stranger to your home for meals and so forth. But the Catholic bishops seem to take that to mean open borders. I mean, they got a really big wall around the Vatican. It's a beautiful wall, really nice wall. But that means anyone who steps foot over the border has to be processed into the country and released. How is that welcoming the stranger according to biblical text? That does not mean to be devoid of all laws of the land, does it?
Absolutely. And I go back to that passage the Attorney General referred to in Romans 13, talking about, obey the laws of the land. When you talk about the context of God's law is always for protection, it's always for peace, it's always for harmony. And so that's why when you look at the issues that we are facing with immigration reform, all the issues, challenges that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, you have to have a come-together approach that covers all the issues of, well, you have to look at the issue of collaborating on providing security at the wall. You have to look at issues of compassion as it relates to bringing families together.
We all do what we can to donate to organizations that help people on the ground in their home countries. I mean, so many Christian organizations, faith-based groups in Guatemala, Central America, South America, Africa, around the world. That's where we as individuals can make a difference through our faith, through our churches and our organizations, correct? It doesn't mean that we have to completely smash our own rule of law and say, okay, you have a really sad life. I understand it's horrible. So we have to allow you to come into the country no matter how you come in. But I want to play something for you, and I want to get Pastor Scott on this. This is a very liberal priest known as Father James Martin. He's not a big fan of Trump, to put it lightly. This is what he said.
No one wants to be a refugee. No one wants to be a migrant, but they do it out of great love for their families. They have a lot of guts to do it, and I think it's up to us to welcome them. I think the problem with a lot of these Christians who are saying that they're reading the Bible is I don't know what Bible they're reading, because the Bible I read has Jesus always reaching out to those who are on the margins, including and most especially migrants and refugees.
Well, Pastor Scott, a lot of Americans feel like they're on the margins. Like 2 blocks from where we're broadcasting from, there are a lot of homeless on the street, literally 2 blocks from where we are. Your comments on
but
Father
listen,
Martin.
There's a difference between migrants, refugees, or illegal immigrants. The parents of these children know that they are committing a crime when they endeavor to sneak into this country. This country has a zero-tolerance policy. They know that our president is hardline in regards to that, but they tried to sneak in anyway. Now, anyone, an American citizen, regardless of your race, creed, or color, if you are engaged in the commission of a crime and you are caught in the commission of this crime and you are apprehended and you have a child in your custody, that child is going to be removed from your custody and placed in the child services until either somebody comes and gets them or they're remanded over to whatever. And so I don't understand why we're taking any culpability for this crime that is being committed away from the parents and making it as if we're just grabbing kids and putting them in a concentration camp, because that is not the case at all. There's a crime being committed. The children are in the custody of the criminals.
And it's Donald Trump's fault. And it's Donald Trump's fault that a crime is being committed.
Because you told yourself, I'm going to sneak into America.
No,
I'm going to sneak into America despite the law, and I'm taking my child. I wouldn't even put my children at risk like that. I have grandchildren. I wouldn't even try to do that if I knew it was a zero policy.
A dangerous journey, that's for sure, up through Mexico. Phenomenal segment. Thank you both.